And now, back to the Dr. Paul Show.
You're back with Dr. Paul, and we have a super guest, one that I've been wanting to have on for some time, Rachel Alto, and she has a website called flipme.com. Hello, Rachel. How are you?
Hi, Doctor. How are you, too?
I'm great, especially since you agree with me. I love this. Do men like women who make the first move? Tell us about that.
They absolutely do. I mean, 1,000%. I think guys are tired of throwing their head against the wall over and over, and, you know, women are kind of the key holder. So I think it's time for women to kind of embrace their sassier side and start going after what they want. So that's kind of my entire mission, is getting women to really go after who they want and stop waiting for what they get.
Rachel, I agree with you, and I use the term 1,000% all the time. In fact, I see Mike, my producer, shaking his head. Oh, yeah, that's Doc. Yeah. And it's funny because I looked at this, I said, I got to have her on. Anybody who agrees with me can't be all bad, right?
That's true. Well, we haven't gotten that far yet.
All right, we'll try to disagree someplace along the line. Maybe not. Look, I want to know something about the flirting strategies that you mentioned in your article here on RTIR.
Sure. Honestly, my biggest flirting strategy is really about kind of giving women the tools they need to let a guy know that they're interested. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. And, you know, guys don't get the right hints and they don't take the opportunity. So it's all about, you know, making the eye contact, making the right body gestures, you know, doing the physical impact, you know, the touch of the shoulder, the mane, and really kind of getting the point across that I'm into you. And that's kind of, my entire company was kind of built around kind of getting that point across.
Well, I like that, and I'm kind of curious about two things. Number one, you said the touch. That's pretty explosive sometimes. I'm not sure about that one.
There's such a physical reaction. You know, it's total biology, and not that I ever studied that. And you know, I went to law school, not med school, so it's all about, you know, you have this connection with someone, and then once you actually, you know, interact with them physically, it changes everything. And I think that's where a lot of people miss it. You know, online when they're falling in love, you know, you have to still have that reaction. And I'm sure you would agree, because, you know, we both say 1,000%, that if someone's, you know, flirting and kind of, you know, getting along in that way, you know, as soon as you have some sort of physical impact on them, it's all over, you know, if it's going in the right direction.
I would agree, but I would probably say not within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I mean, we don't want people groping each other immediately. It's really, they have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, 20 minutes anyway. But no, really more than that, because I think that's a sure sign. Unfortunately, a lot of men, I'm sure you'll agree with this, get the wrong impression. American men especially, and unfortunately again, oh, she's in love with me, man. She wants me. She touched me. And that's the wrong attitude. And I think when I say to women, look, go up and ask a guy, let's go to have coffee. You know, and don't get the idea that I'm taking you out to coffee because I want you physically. I'm taking you out to coffee because I want to know more about you. But if he opens his mouth and his brains drop out, forget it. Go elsewhere, right?
Absolutely. And that's a perfect thing is, you know, asking something as relatively, you know, unassuming as coffee or, you know, grabbing a drink or something like that, where it's not, you know, you're not going up to them and saying, you know, I'm interested in going to bed. You know, it's all about kind of getting your point across without coming across as, you know, something that you're not trying to be. So I completely agree.
Oh, absolutely. I think coffee is a innocuous thing. At one point in time, it was called the think drink, maybe. I don't know. But when you look at saying, well, let's go for a drink, and it becomes, you know, an adult beverage,
yes,
a martini, whatever, that's not going to work because you really don't want that atmosphere. You want to learn about the other person. And that's the critical
and the problem once you know, have an adult beverage, then, you know, you're not really in the same mindset, you know, when you're having a conversation. I'm sure, you know, you've heard 1,000 people tell you that, you know, as soon as they had 2 or 3 cocktails, the whole thing went downhill because they couldn't, you know, get their point across, or they went in the wrong direction and they couldn't recover from it. And I think once you get past a cocktail or two, it could be a mess.
As in candy's dandy, but liquor's quicker? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
It works. I think you're right, absolutely.
Depends on what you're going for. I mean, you know, I tell women, you know, if you're interested in that, you know, if you're coming off a rebound or whatever, you know, go out and have fun. But if you're really trying to get to know somebody, or if you're going for love, you know, you don't do it over, you know, shots.
No, actually, you're right. And I think that if you get into that pattern where you're going after shots, then you're going to pattern that way over and over and over, and it's going to be a very disappointing scenario that you're involving yourself with. I've had so many emails from women who say, I got into this thing with my girlfriends, and I got dumped or I broke up, and it just seemed like the thing to do, and finally I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, I think some women need to go through that process, and I know personally, I've connected with a lot of women that initially, once they get out of a relationship or something, they might need to go out and have those drinks and have that, flirty, non-relationship, conversations and whatnot. And then eventually it does get old. I mean, it gets old for everybody. That's why everyone, eventually gets sick of the bar scene, or, everyone's looking for someone of substance eventually. It just takes some people longer.
They're looking for love in all the wrong places, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think most people have no idea where to look for it and what to do if they have it in front of them. So thank God they have people like you to help figure it out. So.
Well, it sounds like you've got something going here with flipme.com, and I see that you're saying who needs a computer to find love? Watch your social life go from drab to fab. Tell us about that.
My whole philosophy and what Flip Me is really kind of a philosophy of taking everything back offline. And we do have an online component, and I like to call it an internet enhancement to your love life. And we offer flirt cards, and some of them are really funny. Some of them are very sincere.
Wait, Rachel, tell us about that. Flirt cards?
They're flirt cards. They're for women, and on the front of the card it has a fun or sassy saying, and then on the back of the card is a code for the guy who gets the card to connect with her. So instead of giving out your phone number, or, if you're in an establishment that you're not really sure of who you're talking to, you give him one of these cards, and if he's interested, he can, either spark up the conversation right then or go through the website. So there is kind of like a buffer. I like to consider us a vetting system, to let you vet who you're talking to.
I like
and make
that.
Sure it's something you're interested in.
Now, go back now. On that flirt card, is that on your website and they send this to someone?
Actually, no. They're physical cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we sell them in retail and online, and you can pick them up. You can pick up a pack, and it comes with 30 cards and a 6-month membership. And if, she sees somebody and she's out and about and she's interested and she doesn't know how to break that ice, which, is a huge issue with people, she can just flip them a card and say, I'm interested and we should connect. And it kind of forces them to really have a conversation before those martinis go down.
That's a great idea. I see my producer, Mike, shaking his head. We ought to make a link on that. I like that idea, Mike. You like that? Huh? Maybe talk to her later on. We'll see if we can do a link and get those available. Do they have them for men and women?
Right now we focus on women just because, you know what, I think women need the extra help, and I think women also need the extra security. A lot of the things that I've heard since we launched was a lot of women had to change their phone numbers or change their email address, and
sure.
They kind of need that extra level, but at the same time it gives them that extra set of confidence. So we're all about, empowering them. Like I said, my whole mission is really, come on, ladies, get out of the house and stop waiting in the corner. You see who you want. Within 3 seconds if you're attracted to somebody. And half the time no one
say
does
that again.
Anything.
You're going over this quickly, Rachel. I think you're putting some gems out here that we have to expand on. Now, wait a minute.
New Yorker
go back.
Attitude. I talk too fast.
Are you from New York?
I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, that's close enough, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, well, I've spent a lot of time there in Europe, Mideast.
Yeah, I tend to. I try to pace myself, but it's this habit. I can't break it.
Well, that's good because I think you communicate what you mean. Now, go back to that item, that gem we talked about.
Which one? The fact that women need to start going after what they want.
Yeah.
Stop waiting for what they get.
Right.
I think that's our cornerstone. Is really so many women feel like it's inappropriate, or they have to wait for the guy to approach them, and they let all the the possibilities pass them by, and then they regret it in the morning. So I think, what we're trying to offer, both in advice and in a product is really about women kind of saying to themselves, it's time I start taking my own chances and make my own choices and do what I want.
Rachel, we had a show recently that I had, and I said, this is a time where women are actually, there are more employed women now than there are men because of the economy, and they are in a position to oftentimes make as much or oftentimes more money, and so it gives them the edge, and they can be assertive. I didn't say aggressive, but fine, that's good too, but they can certainly be assertive, and that's the direction you're coming from, right?
Exactly, and I completely agree about being assertive rather than aggressive, because I think regardless of how assertive you are, and I'm pretty assertive, and I think I'd consider myself an alpha female. At the same time,
I think I hear that too.
I think every woman wants to, they want to flip the script in the beginning and then eventually have the guy still do the things that are romantic and, the pursuing and things like that. So, you need to be assertive to go after what you want, but at the same time, I think it's natural to say, but I still want him to call me. I still want him to send me flowers. I still want him to take me out to dinner or whatever it is. So it's kind of finding a balance, but, it's okay to make that first move.
Well, your background is law?
It is, yeah. I actually I started out in advertising, and then I went to law school, and this idea came about, and I just had to run with it, and it's been so much fun. I love law, but I love what I do now so much more because you actually see people changing.
How long have you been in this?
I've been working this full-time for the last 3 years, and it's been in production in the works and, patents, because obviously I have to go the legal route. It's been about 5 years. Smart move.
I like it. I like what you're doing here. And I when I saw this right away, my book, Boomer Girls, A Woman's Guide to Men and Dating, is all about that. And
I love it.
Yeah. And I looked at this, I said, wow, do men like women who make the first move? And I often say, in fact, I had Dr. Frida Drake on one night, and she said she's a very, let's say, an alpha female also. And she said, I find that men who may not be real strong attracted to me. But then she said, that's okay because I'm attracted to them too.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I meet a lot of, quote unquote betas and beta guys, and there's some amazing guys out there that they're never going to make that move. It's never going to happen, especially if they see someone that they're intimidated by. And to give women, just the advice and the thing that they can hold on to say, I can do this and I can go after what I want. There's a whole other universe out there that they could be missing. So.
And they have to really believe it. I mentioned too, and I'm going to have to know more about your theories, but I say if you have that energy and that belief in yourself, you will communicate that to the other person. You go out for that first cup of coffee with them, that person's going to feel your presence, your energy, and it communicates well.
Absolutely. And I think, that's what we found that was really, really interesting is people who are not alphas or not, per se aggressive or even assertive, when you started to kind of give them the tools or, whether it be tools through, this is something that you could try out in terms of actions or through the cards themselves, it gave them this different sense of confidence and, gave them what they needed to kind of go after what they were looking for without, changing everything.
Do you get feedback on the effectiveness of these cards?
Yeah, we do all the time. The guys love them. I mean, I haven't heard from a guy yet that wasn't completely flattered or, just blown away by a woman who gave him one. And we find that it works. And sometimes they don't even use the site half the time, which is fine with me. It's there as, a protection, a buffer. But a lot of times it just starts that conversation, and it gives them a conversation piece other than coming up with a pickup line or, something to approach with. So
a pickup line. I have a personal distaste for the pickup artist seminars. Are you familiar with those?
Oh, my God, they're god-awful.
Do you know what
really
they spend on these things, Rachel? $1,200 to $5,000.
That's insanity.
It's sad.
It's insanity, and I don't understand how it works. I mean, unless they can be funny, and that's what I said to people. If you can pull it off as humorous and you can make yourself, if you're a stand-up comic, you could come out with any line you want.
That's just about right. Keep them at ease. We're going to a break right now. Rachel will have to pay the bills. We'll be right back after these messages.
And now, back to the Dr. Paul Show.
Hi, this is Dr. Paul. You're on the Dr. Paul Show, and we have our guest, Rachel. How are you, Rachel?
I'm great. How are you?
Great, Rachel Alto, and she has the company flipme.com, and I'm finding it to be fascinating because even before the show, I wasn't aware of what this is all about. Clue us in on these cards.
Basically, we have 4 different sets of cards that women can choose from and order online or pick up in a retail store. And we offer sexy, sassy, sweet, or a combo pack. So it depends on kind of the personality. You know, the sweet ones are definitely the more demure and, you know, the safer ones where they say things like, you've got a secret admirer, or let's start with hello. And then we kind of move up the line to the sassier ones, which are my favorite.
Why did I know that?
Yeah. One of my favorites is Here's Hoping You Can Read, which is slightly obnoxious.
Well, can chew gum at the same time? Love it. Go on.
You know, but some of them are nicer, and even in the sassy, we have I'm That Girl or You're Being Hit On. And then the sexy ones are really, I like to call these our Vegas cards because I think that's really where they work the best.
Everything stays in Vegas, right?
Yeah, you know, we have cards like Care to Be Mr. Right Now or Consider This Our Little Secret, and, you know, the night just took a turn. So they're definitely, you know, on the sexier side. We're not endorsing anything, but whatever they lead to.
I like that. That's a great combination. So tell us.
And then it's funny because the combo pack has one of every card in our entire line. So just in case, you know, a lot of women, you might wake up feeling a little sweet and end up going to bed feeling sassy. So you need to have it available for all those moments.
Do they take the cards to bed with them? Is that what you're saying?
They might. I mean, depends who's hanging out with them at that point.
Well, tell us the terms of flipme.com. I find it to be very interesting. I think it's an idea whose time has come.
Oh, thank you. It's honestly, we try to keep it super simple. You get a pack of cards in a really cool, card case with a mirror, and it's $25, and they get 30 cards depending on which set they want, and it gets them 6 months membership to the site. So we try to keep it, as reasonable as possible, and it's really just all about having fun and being flirty and focusing on the connections you can make rather than the dating resumes, like I like to call them.
Well, I think it's really, really cool to have the feedback that apparently you're getting as well, because you need to know how these cards are working. It sounds to me as if that's a really great idea. Yeah,
and that's, it's one of the things, especially with the women that give them out and the guys that get them. The guys just absolutely love them. They love to receive them, and it's a compliment, and it really doesn't matter, if they're interested or if they're in a relationship, which is going to happen, when you're flirting and you're out and about. But just to, you're going to make someone smile no matter what. So, and we have a lot of people that, have connected and they're dating, and, maybe I'll get invited to a wedding one day, but,
wow.
It's only been so long, so.
Do you get a referral fee if you get invited to a wedding, or?
I definitely want to go to the wedding.
Well, I think that it has application if you're in a supermarket or in an office supply place or wherever you may be, right? Elevator?
Exactly. That's the thing. It works anywhere. And, I think that's where a lot of people get frustrated with, certain online dating sites and things because it's so restricted.
Yes, it is.
You can connect with anybody. They don't need to have a certain phone or a certain application or, a membership. And it's free for the person who gets it. So, there's no barrier for them to write you back. Well,
when you get there's a follow through though. When a man gets a card, then he's probably going to want to have your email at least.
Yeah, I mean, we typically see about 2 to 3 emails back and forth on the site before people say, you know what, let's give me your phone number or give me your email address, and then they take it, to a more personal level. But what we try to provide is, the messaging center on the site is a way to connect without giving out that information.
So you're the buffer zone.
Yeah, exactly. It's a comfort zone, and once you feel comfortable that he's not, crazy or, married or whatever it is, then you can say, I'm interested
running for
in
public office or something. I like that. Comfort zone. That's good. It's a brilliant idea, and as I said, an idea whose time has come. I'm good with it. When I first went through this, as I said earlier, I didn't realize, what was all involved with it. And I think that if you are able to manage this for 3 years as you have, it's going to result in a great deal of success. I asked you early on, when we talked about beta males, are there cards for males? Are you going to be developing those?
We are. I think eventually, we kind of want to focus on the women because we feel like that's really where our passion is right now. But we have had a lot of requests for a male version, so we will make it, completely, totally different, obviously, for them because our cards are very feminine and female-oriented.
Right.
But I definitely foresee a male version down the line. I think women have to accept it first because women are probably the most critical people. Maybe,
really?
One of them of that gender. And I think once the women are okay with it and they get it and they embrace the concept, then it's going to be okay for guys to use it.
Well, I'm thinking about these fellows that spend the kind of money they spend to go to these seminars. I think it's unfortunate. And we had a lady email from a lady who said that she accepted a date with a man that had been to one of these PUA seminars. And she said, now believe me, the first thing they should tell these guys when they go to these seminars is, do not tell the lady you go out with that you've been to one of these seminars.
Yeah, that is just not good.
First thing you did.
That's not game.
No, you're definitely off your game on that one.
They should have taught that.
And so this is what happened, and she said she was highly insulted, didn't see herself as a pickup, and as she went through the email, the final part was he finally was looking down apparently at some kind of card under the restaurant,
oh my Lord.
under the restaurant desk table, and reading it, and it's pathetic. And my producer said he had to go back for a remedial course.
Oh, man. They should have those. They should have the really, you failed. Maybe they get a discount on the second round.
Unbelievable. Well, look, I'd like to have you mention your website again, and we've really enjoyed having you aboard.
It was a pleasure. The site's flipme.com, and you can reach out to me through there, and everything's available on the site. So.
Well, thank you, Rachel, for being our guest. I knew it would be worthwhile, a lot of fun. We enjoyed it, and I'm certain that my listeners and viewers are going to enjoy seeing more of you and more of your site and getting that deck of cards.
Thanks so much for having me. It was awesome.
Thank you. My pleasure indeed. All right. That was a great guest. That was Rachel Alto, and flipme.com is her website, one that we just discussed, and I know you're going to benefit from.